What's up, everybody? 32 Icon here. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm doing well myself. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. In good faith that I will continue bringing you great content. Oh, and I'm just another YouTube personality, so take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own research, okay? So today we're going to talk about why a 10-round capacity limit isn't feasible in restricted states, all right? So let me just preface this by saying that I posted a video on my Instagram page. My Instagram is livewfu32. So LIVWFU, the number 3 and the number 2. All right, so livewfu32. Anyway, so if you have Instagram, part of this video is going to refer to a video that I posted on my Instagram page. And so I'm going to use that reference, then I'm going to connect it with why I believe 10 rounds isn't feasible living in a restricted state. So the video starts off like this. There is an officer with his gun drawn, and there is a suspect that is approaching him. And the suspect, I don't know much background of the story, but basically it looked as if the suspect is mentally disturbed, okay? So he's approaching the officer. Now he has a butcher knife in his hand. So the officer has his firearm drawn, and the suspect is approaching. So you hear and you see, you can literally see in the video that the officer is telling him repeatedly to listen, stop, put the knife down, stop coming toward me. Basically, I don't want to kill you. So eventually at one point in time, the suspect just decided to completely ignore the officer's demand and started to charge toward the officer. At that time, there's like maybe a 7-foot, maybe 10-foot space between the suspect and the officer with his gun drawn. And so the suspect is charging, and you will see it in the video. And so the officer unloads 7 rounds into him. So the suspect goes down, but he's not completely down and out for the count. He's hurt, he's definitely hurt, but he's still moving. Now, with those 7 rounds, it's not clear if all 7 rounds connected or maybe a few hit him, but he definitely got hit. So at this point, he's down. The officer is giving him commands, put your hands behind your back, etc., etc. Now the suspect is irate, like he is just pissed at this point. So now there's another officer on the scene with he doesn't have his gun drawn. I don't believe he has his gun drawn. Maybe he does, and then he puts it back in his holster, but that's important to know because I'm about to tell you what else happened if you haven't seen this video already. So at this point, the suspect gets up. So he's riddled with bullets. He's bleeding profusely. It's not clear in the video if he still has his knife in his hand or not, but he gets up. The officer who initially shot him didn't shoot him again. He allowed him to get up, but at this time he's telling his partner, hey, grab your taser, let's tase this guy because we're not trying to take his life. So let's tase this guy. So at this point, the suspect is yelling, he's aggressive, he is pissed off. So the partner is over here. The suspect charges the partner. Now remember, he's riddled with bullets. He's running full speed ahead to the other officer. At that time, I don't know if the officer was going for his taser or for his firearm, but listen, the suspect was able to grab the officer, put his arm around the officer's neck, pretty much put him in a chokehold, and the initial officer that shot the suspect the first time now is facing the officer on the ground with the suspect behind him. It's not clear whether he has a knife or not up to his throat, but it looks like it. But either way, the officer is in trouble. So at this point, the initial officer has to make a decision. Do I shoot this guy knowing that he has my partner in a chokehold, and it's about, it's like, you know what it's like? It's one of those targets that you have where there's one person in front and then there's a person behind them with the gun to their head, and you have to shoot the person that's behind them. Well, this is a prime example of that target. So basically, the officer made an executive decision and unloaded another 4 rounds into the suspect, but he did not hit the officer, which was, wow, you gotta see this video. It was a miracle he didn't hit the officer. The officer ended up being safe and unharmed. Obviously, the suspect died, but that is a scary video, and it brings me to this point. So I say all that to say this. in a restricted state, right? I'm not an officer, I'm just a regular civilian. If something like that was happening to me, and like the officer, I'm backing up and someone is charging me with a deadly weapon, whether it's a knife or a baseball bat or something like that, that can do great bodily harm or completely kill me, then I have to decide, A, if that's a threat or not, and B, if I want to pull my firearm. So here's the deal. There's this, I think it's called the 21-foot rule. And basically the premise of it is this. If someone, a threat, a suspect, is standing 21 feet away from you with a knife or a bat or something that's going to harm you, you have about 1.5 seconds to unholster your gun and fire before he's able to actually attack you. So you might think, well, 21 feet is, it's not that far. But there are various YouTube videos out there on this, various studies on this, that an assailant or a suspect can get from 21 feet away from you, from that point to you, quicker than most people can unholster their firearm and fire it. Meaning that if he makes contact with you, chances are you can die. So that might be a little extreme, but basically what they're saying is that in that 21-foot space, there is a great possibility for bodily harm and or death. So my point is this: if I'm a regular civilian and someone is coming and charging me, those 7 shots that the officer unloaded into the suspect, well, guess what? If I did the same thing and that suspect didn't fall, I got 3 rounds left in Connecticut. 3 rounds, that's it. I got 3 rounds. What am I going to do with those last 3 rounds? And that's if there's not another suspect. What if there's 2 people that, or 3 people that's coming to harm me and do me great bodily harm and or kill me? So I unloaded 7 into one person, and as you can see in the video, if it's still up, I hope Instagram doesn't take it down, but if it's still up, you will see that he went down, but he got back up with full force. Okay, so some people, depending on the caliber in which that was used, I don't know if this was a 9mm caliber that the officer used or not, but depending on the caliber, a person can get hit, instantly fall, instantly die, or can keep charging at you because the adrenaline is going so much that they don't feel the pain. So they're just trying to get to you before you put them down. So if you have, 10 rounds in your magazine, that's not going to help you much. And then remember, at the end, I told you the officer, in order to put him down permanently, had to fire 4 more rounds. So listen, I'm not a math wizard, but 7 plus 4 is 11. Well, I only have 10 rounds. And I don't carry a spare mag, right? And so you have to think the adrenaline is running. I'm backpedaling, trying to make sure that you don't connect with me. You're running toward me. You're moving. I'm moving. All that has to be taken into account when you're firing a weapon. You might be thinking, well, shot placement, Liv. Well, of course, shot placement is everything. But when you're at the range and you're stationary and that target in front of you is stationary, it's easy to have great shot placement when you're stationary. But if he's moving, you're moving, you know, the adrenaline is pumping and all that is going on, plus you're backpedaling, not just moving, you're backpedaling and he's sprinting towards you. That's a lot to consider. And I love when people say, oh, well, just shoot him in the leg or shoot him in the arm. My blood pressure just rose for a minute there. People who say that are either A, ignorant to firearms and accuracy and all that good stuff. They're completely ignorant. And I don't mean ignorant like teasing them, meaning ignorant as of lack of knowledge. They have no clue. So either they're ignorant or they don't care or they don't want to know. That's what I'll say. They have no idea what it takes to fire a firearm and be accurate with it. So now that brings me to my next point. So if you ever seen like active self-protection, you see that he shows various videos where a mom or a dad is home and the assailant come charging in the home, whether it's at night, during the day, what have you. And usually the assailant has a weapon or they come with multiple people. So rarely do you see, and it does happen, but it's not often, when someone is trying to invade your home, they're coming with other people who also have weapons and want to hurt you, or may not want to hurt you, may just want your stuff, but nonetheless they have weapons too, and you don't know that. So there might be someone who comes to the door, there might be two people who come to the door, there's somebody at the back door, someone, on the lookout. So it could be 2, 3, 4. How do you know? So guess what? Again, if I have 10 rounds, right? If that's all I'm working with by law, I got 4 people. My shot placement has to be on point. Okay? On point. Like no room for errors in order for me to be able to neutralize threats and make sure that I get out of there safely and not go over 10 rounds. So listen, I'm not a pro when it comes to this, and I'm sure I missed some things that are probably helpful and more detailed, and some information that might be able to give you a better idea of what it means to have limited capacity living in a restricted state. But what I'm saying is that no, I don't think I need to have 30, 40 rounds. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as you're responsible. I don't care. But at least give me 15 rounds to work with by law. I mean, come on. I can't depend on you. By the time I call 911, I could be dead and bleeding out and all this other stuff, and y'all just get into the scene. At least give me the opportunity to have enough rounds where I can protect myself and live to tell the story. That's all I'm saying. So when you see that video and the officers have multiple rounds, like their capacity, I believe is, I don't even know what their capacity is. It could be 17, 20, 14 rounds. I don't know. But I know for us in restricted states, we're only allowed to have 10. So, and most people that I know of don't shoot as often as I do, and I shoot about twice a month or so, and I think I'm pretty decent. But the average CCW holder is not shooting twice a month. They might go to the range, shoot, and that's it. And that's probably them just having fun, not really working on fundamentals. I'm there working on fundamentals, and I could tell you, I'm sure if that were me, I probably would have missed a couple of shots just from the adrenaline, and you'll see how he's backing up and a lot is coming at him. You will probably miss a couple of rounds. I mean, I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I had to shoot someone, so I can only imagine there are going to be a few rounds that are going to probably go off, but yet you're responsible for every round that come out of that firearm. But what I'm saying is that the state should allow us to have more capacity in our rounds. Now, listen, I don't know if you guys know, well, I know you guys don't know this, but I'm saying this in this video, and this video might be demonetized. I don't care. I don't make any money off this anyway. But when you start talking about magazine capacity, when you start talking about state laws and firearms and stuff like that, YouTube come in real quick and review that video, and they shut it down. But I do want to put this out here that, I think that we are at a disadvantage as civilians who have the right to carry and carry responsibly, and then you have a bad guy who is not thinking about the law. So they're not thinking about the law. They're certainly not thinking about ammo capacity. They're like, what? So I'm about to go commit this crime, but I can only have 10 rounds? Man, please, give me that 30 round mag. I'm about to go do what I need to do. So they're not thinking about that. So you put us at a disadvantage because, you're like, oh, well, you can't have more than 10 rounds. The only people who follow the rules are law-abiding citizens. Those are the only people who follow the rules. Criminals ain't following no rules, no laws, no mandates. They don't care about that crap. They're looking at you like, what? I'm about to go commit this murder, and I'm going to commit 5 more crimes in the process of going to commit this murder in the gun-free zone. Like, that's why sometimes I just look at these politicians, I'm like, oh my gosh, they have no clue. But listen, this is not a politics channel. You can get all that from somewhere else, but I just wanted to put it out there that 10 rounds isn't enough. Plain and simple. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that. I'm sorry if this video is too long. I didn't mean to rant, but that video that I posted on my Instagram page, you got to go check it out, is brutal. It's crucial. It's crucial to watch. But I don't blame you, officer. You had to do what you had to do. I really don't. You got to do what you got to do. But there's a lot of lessons in that video, and I would not be surprised if active self-protection breaks that video down, because there are a lot of lessons that can be learned from that. All right. Also, last thing, again, If you want to get a holster from Vetter Holsters, remember I'm an ambassador there, so you can use my link. I'll put it in the description for you. Use my link, use my code, go get yourself a nice holster for the 4th of July. And I'll put my Instagram information up here for you so you guys can check out the video if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts on it. I hope you guys are treating one another with kindness, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Peace.